We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, episode number 95. Welcome to the We Make Movies podcast, making the world a better place, one film at a time. And now, here are your hosts, three aspiring sellouts, Chad, Michelle, and Garret. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. Podcast is all about how to get your movie made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome. You know, we had it for 1 week, and then our intro was incorrect again. I am your host, Garret Robinson. With me, as always, faithful co-host Chad Kukahiko. Not with us this week, Michelle Lucadou. She's got something she's doing. Do you remember what the thing was?
Yeah, she's doing more of her recruitment situation for Relativity.
The thing,
out of
job,
state
work,
stuff,
travel.
Hey, did you notice during the sort of intro thing that I was doing sort of the old school drum position?
No, I did not notice that.
It's like, like a drummer from the Civil War or something. That was.
I'll go back and watch the replay.
Yeah, it's
I'm
very.
not going to go back and watch the replay. No, I will go back. Actually, I don't go back and watch the replay. I go and I listen to the shows again afterwards. But I will, I will go back and I will watch the first 30 seconds just see the old Civil War drummer
style
stance,
drumstick.
And you know what you're talking about on drum stances.
I do.
Actually, that sounds like it's a joke, but it's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
As always, if you're watching this live, feel free to comment on the YouTube channel or tweet us at #WeMakeMovies, and we can respond live. Although, as always, we love comments on the YouTube video more because then we can show your comments and it looks all cool and sexy and stuff. And we're all about the cool and sexy, right?
Word. I mean, just look at us.
See, that's when we needed Michelle. That's when Michelle should have been here, is right in that moment.
I don't know. Men can be sexy. I mean,
men can be sexy. I don't think that. I don't know that maybe I should just speak for myself and we should just move on because I don't think that we're.
No, we're not. I just
have general news.
I just saw your tweet though to me in response. We were on a very, very interesting Twitter thing going on today. He said something on Wednesday on Twitter and he said bonus. And for some reason today I was reading the tweet and I thought it said boner. And I was like, I responded on Twitter. I was like, hey, why did I see boner? And you were like, you say potato, I say potato. And I said, or in this case, it would be you say potato, I say boner. So, and then your response was very interesting. I would like to hear the rest of that story, though.
Yeah, sometime over scotch. But basically, just to entice people to come to a We Make Movies meeting. If you come to a We Make Movies event, I will tell you the story. Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't drink in October.
I don't care if you're having scotch over my scotch.
Oh.
But we used to have a saying in my high school. This was an actual saying. You say potato, I say I like to have butt sex. That was a thing. And more on that if you ever come to We Make Movies, 7:30 p.m. Theater Asylum in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, do you have news for us?
I do. So Aram is a film by longtime We Make Movies member Chris Chambers, and it's been doing really quite well in the festival circuit. So well, in fact, that it actually got picked up. I don't know if they're going through. I'd be interested. In fact, we were going to have him on the show, and I was going to talk to him about it, but there was a timing conflict. We may have him next week. We're talking about that. But anyway, the film, Aram, is about a 12-year-old Armenian boy whose parents were killed in a car accident in Beirut. Which is where he was living at the time. And then he was forced, because his parents died, to move to Los Angeles to live with his grandfather, who's a cobbler. Aram opens at the Americana on Friday, and then the following Tuesday, that's a week from this Tuesday, October 20th, We Make Movies will be hosting a special screening followed by a Q&A with Chris. And I'm not sure if there will be other filmmakers there at the Q&A, but definitely Chris will be there. I myself couldn't get a ticket, although, I mean, I did have a ticket, but then frickin' Film Independent is such a piece of crap that, anyway, when Aram was in the LA Film Festival back in June, I was trying to go see it, but they shut it down. And just the moral of that story, I don't want to get into the details. The moral of the story is Film Independent is just the worst ever. So just there you have it. The Hollywood Reporter review from that screening, though, was really complimentary. And I'm really looking forward to it. If you can make it on the 20th, you should definitely come down. We were actually, like I said, going to have him on the show this week, and we were going to talk about a bunch of different things. But hopefully that'll happen next week. So if you come see it,
I thought we were having somebody else next week.
Well, we can actually push that back. I gotta talk to him. We have Anthony Ferraro is going to be coming on the show. He's going to be talking about Galactic Galaxy, but he has actually some time. If we have Chris on next week, that'll be 2 days before the screening. So that's why I think it might be better timing if awesome. He can come on. But otherwise, we're definitely going to have Anthony on for sure.
Yeah, we should clarify that that there's a project called Galactic Galaxy. He will not be here to actually talk about the Galactic Galaxy known to many of you as the Milky Way. For one thing, I don't think he's qualified. Nothing.
Probably not.
I just don't think that he's the guy.
No, but he's got a really crazy show. It's on Indiegogo right now. He's trying to raise $30,000. He's already raised over $11,000. So he's more than a third of the way there. And he still has like 3.5, maybe even about 4 weeks left in the campaign. So he's got time to make it. And it's really fun. So yeah, we'll be talking with Anthony Ferraro on a very near show, a show coming soon to you.
Sweet.
Wherever you are.
That was a good ending. You rounded that out. That was great.
Thanks, man.
And again,
put a point on it. Just
again, Aram. You can find it at aramfilm.com. That's ARAM film.com.
And Galactic Galaxy, if you want to know more about that, is at galacticgalaxymovie.com.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I kind of wanted to talk about this. This is part gloating and part I want to make a correction.
Wait, before you say anything more, don't forget, we got to tell people that if you comment on the YouTube, well, rumor has it.
I said that already.
Oh, you did?
I did. It's the one time I remembered, and you didn't even notice that I remembered and said it.
I apologize. Sorry, as you were.
Whether I get it right or get it wrong, I'm always getting shit. So the first part, the gloating, in the week's box office, Pan flopped terribly. Terribly. It made $15 million, or it will make $15 million by the end of the night. It had $150 million budget.
Oof.
Yeah, it needs.
That's bad.
That's really.
That's bad.
Really bad.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you saw the trailer, but to me, this is completely predictable.
It looks like a kids movie. It looks like a fun kind of kids movie with
looks like a terrible kids movie. When I saw it, I was literally my reaction was in the theater when I saw it with my wife. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they got Hugh Jackman to do that. And she was like, what? It looks good. And I said, no, it does not. And apparently I'm not the only one, because boy, I read in one review that the Pirates
23%.
Yeah.
23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
What's popular? Popular is 53 though.
Okay. 53 is still not good.
That's not good, but it's not
28.
It's not 23.
23. I read in one review that the Pirates, when they're coming in and swooping up the boys and stealing them away to Neverland, which, by the way, isn't a thing that happened in the original story. They sing "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
No.
And later, or maybe in the same sequence, but I think it's later, they sing "Blitzkrieg Bop." The film's not a musical. That should just be pointed out right off the bat. There's no. It's not like the original. The original movie, the cartoon Disney classic that we all know and love and is a little bit racist. Speaking of that, we'll get to that in a second. But it's not a musical, but they just sing these songs. Why? It doesn't make any sense. And now
you turned into Christopher Walken for a second there.
I realized that after a second. I was like, why? It doesn't make any sense. I don't. Yeah. So that's a thing.
That's too bad.
It's not too bad. Whoever made that kind of, yeah. So the racism.
Sorry, go ahead. But we should also comment on Patrick's comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't know if we should. I don't know.
I don't know if it will relate. Like, reading it is definitely better than saying it.
Yeah, reading it is definitely better than saying it. And I don't know if I want to do either one. I don't know that this is a thing. Patrick says, in reference to my earlier story about the potato thing, Garrett, a lot of girls experiment with butt sex in high school. Everything but sex. Then there's a pause or a period, and then he says, maybe joke is funnier when delivered orally. Oh, Patrick Duncan. You wonderful person. So racism. The film, I don't actually remember if we talked about this on the show or not, but the film garnered a lot of controversy when they were announcing casting for it because they for the part of Tiger Lily, maybe this is something that's a little bit close to home for you, Chad.
Asian.
Sorry?
Never mind. Go ahead. I'm jumping the gun here.
Okay, so for the part of Tiger Lily, the
Asian,
the Native American.
Oh, okay.
What?
All right.
The Native American
Asian.
Yeah, the classically Native American girl, Tiger Lily from Neverland. We all know her from Peter Pan.
Oh yeah, totally.
She was played by Rooney Mara, the girl who's so white that she played the Swedish girl in the girl with the dragon tattoo. Like,
well, they're all Swedish though, aren't they? In
Who
Girl
is?
from the Dragon Tattoo.
yeah, but that's how white she is that
Yes.
she can play a Swedish person. You get what like, this is not a Native American person at all. This is not even somebody, this is not that guy, the Indian, the crying Indian on the commercial who, like, you look at it and you're like, fuck, he looks like a Native American to me. No, none of that. You see her in the film, in the whole thing, and you're like, well, that is a white person
wearing a Native American garb.
Why?
Oh.
Who thought
It's
this?
2015.
Yes, it is. It is 2015.
Wait. Wait. Sorry. Back up. Did she actually play this?
Yes.
And she was in the Native American garb.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
I know.
I, for one, did not know Tiger Lily was a Native American. I don't really know that story well enough, but I mean,
you must not have watched the original then, because the original was like racist, like way racist.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, I don't even want to do it, but you know, they show up and the Native Americans are doing like a really, really offensive caricature and just tons of, yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. When
You're not talking about Hook. What original are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the cartoon, Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, however, now I want to get to the correction part of this news segment, which is The Martian. Okay, so The Martian is still doing quite well at the box office. It only dipped 32% in the second weekend, and it kept the top spot at the box office with 37 million. And I went back and I listened to last week's show, and I feel, in retrospect, I feel like I was too harsh on the movie. I feel like I made it sound like a gigantic piece of shit, and it is not a gigantic piece of shit. It is something that like deserves to do well.
I didn't get that sense.
Okay, good. I felt, listening back, you know, we always like judge ourselves a little bit more harshly. Like, you know, most people hate the sounds of their voice. I don't. I love the sound of my voice. But, you know, I
got the sense that you were saying it was a good film, but it's better if you've never read the book. That was all I said.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like the book was so good. Like, this is like, I think that people should read the book, but like read the book after you've seen the film, and then it's just going to be like, because it's so good. And it was, because it was so good, I kind of had this like hype built up about the film, and it didn't quite do that. But just because it's not like, it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 for me, I still think it was a solid 8. So, and it's top of the box for 2 weeks in a row. People should go check it out. That's all.
93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that critical?
94 audience.
Holy, yeah. See,
that
makes sense.
Yeah,
that's really good. All right, go ahead.
So this company, ARHT Media, which they pronounce Art Media, it's a Canadian company. They're the company that brought Tupac back to life at Coachella back in 2012, and they are continuing to improve their particular type of hologram, which they called Huma-grams, to live events all around the world, and even just to storefront windows. And hold that thought, I will get back to that in a moment. What they produce is not true holograms, because they're not 360. They don't have any volume to them, and they're not light based. but they do seem to the viewer fairly realistic. And in this the digital trends link, which I will obviously share in the show notes, there's a video of a similar broadcast to that Tupac thing, which they did very recently with Tony Robbins. And obviously Tony Robbins is still alive. It was actually sort of a live. This was so interesting about it. It was sort of a
you
live.
Say obviously, but like I would not have known that if you were
Tony
like,
Robbins
Tony Robbins. He died a few years ago. I've been, oh yeah, that was terrible.
But anyway, yeah, he's a little young, I think, to be, and not, in the rap world or anyway. So anyway, he's whatever, like that's a dangerous world. I don't know. My point is that he's alive. And despite a slight sound lag, it was pretty convincing. I mean, and what we saw was, and this was what was interesting about it, is you see Tony Robbins on a stage in front of a bunch of people, but he's not there. It's a creation. He's in a studio in Miami. And the video that you watch on the thing is shot from Melbourne, Australia. So you're seeing it. It was just a teeny sound lag. But other than that, it looked pretty freaking realistic. It looked like he was there up on the stage. It was really interesting. But what is particularly interesting about what ARHT is trying to do with their Huma-grams is that they're planning to partner it with facial recognition technology. So that, like one of the examples that showed in this promo video, which was pretty funny, and I'll tell you why it was funny in a moment. And by the way, this video will also be in that digital trends link that I will share. It showed a woman walking by a store, and this digital saleswoman, this virtual saleswoman in the storefront is like, calls her by name. She's like, hey, come here, I want to sell you stuff. So it's gonna basically target our faces as we're walking by stores, figure out who we are, figure out what we like to buy, and then have some virtual salesperson pitch us stuff. And what was pretty funny about this video is when this like strange robotic voice or whatever calls to her, the woman's like, oh, she's all pleased, not at all horrified, which is probably what would happen. What are you? What's happening?
It's a hologram, right? Or is it a robot?
No, it's a hologram. It's a hologram.
So I'm picturing like a full Minority Report type thing where like eventually they're going to track like your sexuality and be like attractive man, attractive woman.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like something out of Minority Report, except what they're saying is technology is available right now.
I'm terrified.
Yes, as I'm sure everybody else is as well. But this video made it look like, oh, everybody's gonna love it. It was pretty funny.
No.
Hey, Chad, who the fuck are you? Wait, you're not even human? What is happening? What is happening?
This is how Skynet begins. This is where it all starts.
We are there.
And then we send Arnold Schwarzenegger back in time.
That's right. So there you have it. Interesting, frightening. Discuss.
They have to figure out how to cross the Uncanny Valley. That's the big thing. Like, and for anybody who doesn't know, the Uncanny Valley is somebody plotted. They took various types of robot that were all meant to be like simulated human robots, and they made ones that were like unbelievably realistic. Like if you just looked at it sitting there or at a photograph, you'd be like, well, that's a person. Until, like it started moving and then you're like, oh yeah, it's a robot. And then they took ones that were like, this is very clearly like, they look a little bit more like a crash test dummy, right?
Right.
And everything in between. And so they plotted it based on the quality of the robot and the quality or the positiveness of the response of people to the robot. And the more realistic it got, the more people thought it was really cool and really awesome, until it was at like 85%. And then things just shut down because it was like, there's something very wrong with you, but it's so close, but it's very wrong. So that's what they call the Uncanny Valley, is like,
that's funny.
That really weird, just like, what the fuck? So if they can figure that out, I might be on board. I don't know. So
is the moral of that story that they have yet to create some that comes back up out of that valley? Is that
the fully realistic ones, people were just like, that's a real, oh my God, that's so cool. Oh, that's a real robot. And then the other ones, it was just like it's taking my soul. So you have to.
That's hilarious.
You can be on either side of that divide, but you
Yes.
can't be right in the middle.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Interesting.
I'm going to launch into the obligatory weekly Marvel movie news update. So rumors started flying that the Inhumans film that was slated for 2019 had been canceled by Kevin Feige because the material had been being dealt with so heavily in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. And there were even some rumors that it was a spiteful move on the part of Feige to get back at what's-his-face, the guy who used to be in charge of Marvel Studios and still runs the television department. Marvel thoroughly debunked it. They said, no, the film is still happening in 2019, and everything's going as planned. For anybody who doesn't know, the Inhumans are a slightly more fringe superhero team, kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, where like nobody really knew who they were until the movie came out. They are people who live on the moon and get their powers from magical mists on the moon called the Terrigen mists, because of course they are. And then also in Marvel news, Marvel Studios announced an Ant-Man sequel for 2018, which is funny because that's sort of like, that's getting really close to the lineup that we already had, and people thought that other films were going to go in that year, but maybe this is an and, not an or. And then there are also 3 more unnamed films announced for 2020 for phase 3. On the whole unnamed films thing, that's actually pretty exciting because they did this last year of announcing a massive film lineup, but they didn't tell us what any of the films were. And like they did it all ahead of D23. So that like for almost a whole year, fans were going crazy speculating on what it was all going to be about. And then D23 happened, which is the big, international Disney conference. And we all, crapped our pants basically. So we have yet to find out what phase 3 is all about, but it's probably going to be pretty kick-ass.
So right now in the schedule, there are only 2 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2016, but what you're saying is they're adding a third.
No, Inhumans is still scheduled for 2019.
No, I'm talking about Ant-Man. Sorry, did I say Inhumans?
Ant-Man is 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 2018 is already kind of jam-packed, though. There's like built. 3 there.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow. 2016 is interestingly a little light, though.
Yeah, I think that I had a speculation, but it's way too late in the game for this, that they were going to stick a Black Widow movie in 2016. But if they were, we'd have heard about it by now.
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to do that because her contract ran out around the time of Age of Ultron. They've probably either already renegotiated, or are still undergoing negotiations because she shot Civil War right around the time Age of Ultron was coming out. So like she's already going to be in Civil War. It's a whole thing. So
she's definitely going to be in Infinity War, right?
Oh yeah, well,
definitely.
I hope so. People are going to be really upset if she isn't.
I think I've seen her already in the imagery.
No, that's for Civil War.
Oh right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Man, interesting.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, I love it so much.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
I'm really interested.
Because I was right about to go, really? Because I'm not at all interested in what's going to happen with Superman.
I didn't. I spoke wrong.
I don't care.
Yeah.
DC, I don't care about anything that you're doing.
This is the funny thing is so it's supposed to come out in summer 2017. So a little less than 2 years from now. But it's the one where it's the first one that Marvel's going to be producing. That somebody else is distributing and paying for it and everything. Sony, right?
But Spider-Man is already going to be in Civil War next year.
Well, yeah, the character will be, but that's still its own thing. Marvel is, Marvel's Marvel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the character. I'm talking.
I just think it's funny that he's getting his debut not in a Spider-Man film. You know what I mean? Like the new actor, that whole spiel.
Well, that's the thing is they've been saying that they don't want to do any more,
origin stories.
Stories. So it's gonna be really interesting this next few years. Like
I want all of the movies now. I want them. I found out last night that Megan never saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
What? Your own wife?
I thought we saw it together, and she's like, no, we did not. So now we have to watch it tonight. That's what we're doing tonight, is we're watching Guardians of the Galaxy, which I will love. And
I've already seen it twice, so
it's so good. I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
I just had to one-up you there. I don't actually.
You actually haven't.
I actually have seen it 4 or 5 times. Maybe.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump into
the main.
Okay. So the original content fever is picking up, and it's starting to go international. This week, HBO announced that they're going to start providing HBO Now to Latin America and to the Caribbean. And a Mexican VOD platform called Claro Video also announced that they're starting to produce their 2 new original series. Claro Video already has 40% of the market share in Mexico, while Netflix has a little bit over 55% of the market share. But this announcement basically shows that they're trying to increase that and actually try to maybe steal some or back from Netflix. Most of other countries appear to have their own VOD platforms. I don't speak the other languages, but in my alerts that I've set up, I get a lot of the stuff in my feed, so I see them. I see what they're up to, especially in India. I see a ton in India. But anyway, as the desire for this original content grows here in the U.S., it also seems to be spreading to these other countries. Of course, what is and is not considered original content can be sort of a tricky question, particularly when you're taking into account the various different ways that the international entertainment industries are structured. Like for instance, in England, they have the it's on the tip of my tongue, but whatever that TV, they have a couple of them. You know what I'm talking about, Garrett. Help me out here.
Not off the top of my head.
They do Doctor Who, and they do everything. They're the
BBC?
Anyway, BBC. So they've got like BBC, BBC Two, stuff like that. And some of those guys, they've already been producing their own content. In fact, a lot of what we're doing now seems to have come from like what BBC has done. So there's different. And then in France, they have Canal, which is not set up the same. Like at BBC is basically, it comes from money.
If it's in France, I believe it's Canal.
Anyway, for the point is that some of these companies are doing VOD, and that's what they're doing, sort of like Netflix, and then they start to create their own original content, like what Netflix did. And some of these companies are more like HBO, like they had tons of original content, and then they got into VOD. So either way, in either case, it's kind of the same thing. A company that is doing original content and also provides stuff video on demand. And that is what is really blowing up right now. Netflix is obviously greenlighting shows to also get footholds into other countries, like what they did with Marco Polo to get into the Far East. But with local companies like Claro Video, are they going to find success in their individual countries at this original content? Who knows? It's an interesting question that will obviously only be told with time. So I will obviously be paying attention and telling you more about it. And if you hear about something in a home country or a country that you know of, please let me know and I will spread the word.
I just have to say, company name Claro Video it just has way too many syllables that are like chlamydia, and I just think they should have shopped the English version around just a little bit.
You're racist.
So not racist.
You're so racist.
What? It's like what do they call it? There's a Chinese manufacturing company that moved in here, and literally they built a building and they put a big sign up on it in English, and it just said "cunt" with an exclamation point. And I feel like it's like that.
That's fantastic.
It's pretty amazing. I love
all the like pho restaurants. I love all the pho restaurants.
Yeah, they're
Pho
amazing.
King
And the broken English t-shirts, the t-shirts that people, like overseas get that are in English, and you read them and you're just like, I don't know what this was supposed to say, but
I wish the comment thing was working again. I don't know why the comment tracker's not working.
It's quite irritating. But Charlie and Andy, aka How to Be a Dad, commented on Twitter, doesn't the Uncanny Valley also apply to CGI? And it definitely does. And I replied to that tweet and tagged you in it, Chad. You might want to check out the GIF that I linked in response to that. It's pretty fantastic.
Looking forward to it.
There's a whole culture of hilarious video game glitches that I have only recently become acquainted with, and oh my god, they will make you piss your pants with laughter. And then, was there an actual comment or?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, just it was just a silly one from Patrick. He said, "It's fun here under my bridge." Smiley face.
Oh yes. So yeah, but anyway, getting back to the actual point, because we're not all about the chlamydia jokes over here. It feels like not entirely like the Wild Wild West, but like back in the day when film was like just becoming a thing. You had this explosion of the industry all over the world, and you had like these amazing filmmakers, starting their work in Germany and other European countries, and you didn't. I don't. Maybe I'm just like historically illiterate on this kind of thing, but like you didn't have the presence of it in Latin America that you do today, and it's really cool to like see it maybe expanding into those areas, and just like every area is going to need its own original content, telling its own stories of the people who are there and who are involved in it, and it's very exciting. I don't know that it's necessarily something that like we can't, I don't think, take huge advantage of like the new Brazil film market, because like there's a lot of barriers for us to get down there. But I think it's going to be a lot easier for smaller subsets of the industry to spring up in places where it hasn't necessarily been the biggest thing. So I think that's really cool.
Well, and also because of technology, the speed at which these technologies grow and are adopted has picked up substantially. I mean, just watching if you ever watch something by Ray Kurzweil, he's a fascinating cat. I don't know if there's a documentary about him called Millennium Man. It's really, really interesting. And he talks about a lot of that stuff, about the tempo, the speed at which technology is starting to move, because everything's moving towards this sort of these various different singularities. All these different technologies start to pick up so fast that
if there's multiple various ones, how can they be singularities, Chad?
Each singular one.
I'm just gonna retreat again.
Okay. But it's so fascinating how quickly this stuff is picking up. What's really interesting to me is that I see this stuff just starting to pick up. Yeah. Like the day that cable TV in its current form is you can tell that it's different than all the other entertainment out there. The day that they become the same thing is the day when that is over. That's the point at which where it's not really going to matter if you're watching something on cable or if you're watching it on the internet. It's all the same. It's all VOD. It's all when you want. It's all on demand is what I mean. You know what I mean? You don't have to. The only things you're going to want that are going to be, at a particular time are going to be, sports shows or World Cup or that's it. You know what I mean? Maybe particular concerts, but you're going to want to be there by and large. I find it really fascinating, and I'm curious to see, because I do get all these Google alerts from all around the world. I'm seeing them, and I'm skipping over the stuff that happens outside the US just because our audience, is not quite as interested unless it pertains to us as well. If it just pertains to India, if it just pertains to the Philippines, I don't really, but I see it happening, and there's a lot, there's so much going on, not just here, all around the world. This is a really moving trend, and some countries are way ahead of us. Like India with a lot of this stuff is way ahead of us on a variety of different things.
Yeah, anyway. Totally.
Yeah, dude.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You lost me at India.
So at what?
Just trying to figure out when I lost you. Just trying to figure that out.
I don't. It was probably somewhere around India. I've gotten lost in India many times, numerous times.
Is that right?
I don't know. Like sometimes I just have I have trouble hanging on to the ramifications of all this stuff. Like honestly, like this is a statement on me, but like you say these things and I'm just like, cool. I have no idea what to do with this. It's cool.
Well, I'll tell you what you do with it. I'll tell you what you do with it. You do with it what everybody did, not everybody, but a lot of the people that benefited from taking advantage of YouTube at the time that YouTube was just getting going. Do you know what I'm saying? What you do with this information is you jump on board. That's what you do with it. You know what I mean?
Where to jump on board though? You know what I mean?
Find a series. Write a series. Get involved on a series. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, turn one of your book series into a TV series. Write the pilot. Write the Bible. You know that's what I'm saying. You have the material.
Mention that
because that's what you're doing.
Well, no, I mean, that's always been the plan for my books is to turn them, for example, the Nightblade series is going to be turned into a TV series that I would love to find and get produced. Of course, it's an epic fantasy series, so it's not exactly like, it's not your, standard 20-minute sitcom or whatever. But it's just interesting that we led into the subject of books because for my main news segment, see the transition there? Did you see that? That was fantastic.
Nice segue.
It would have been better if I hadn't
called it out.
Yeah, called attention. I got to stop doing that. But my internet bestie, according to some people, Hank Green, held his first annual a new convention, the first annual instance of a new convention of his. It's probably wrapping up right now because it's in Minneapolis. It's called NerdCon Stories, and it's a convention about writing and telling stories, whether in book format or anything else. Hank Green actually started writing his first book this year. I'm one of his beta readers. It's pretty cool. It's awesome. And I don't know if that was the impetus behind starting the convention, but he started it with Patrick Rothfuss, who is the author of The Name of the Wind. And they've been internet friends for a while, I guess. And
are you jealous?
I tried so hard to go. I tried so hard.
I meant of his other friend.
Patrick Rothfuss?
Yeah, you jealous that he has another friend?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that within a couple of years, I'm going to eclipse any other relationships he has in his life. It's like
single white male.
Just biding my time.
Right.
But I tried so hard to go to this convention, dude. You have no idea. Yeah, I was like trying to pull strings until the very last minute, and I got a really incredibly generous offer from a really awesome online friend of mine who was gonna pay for like a large portion of the trip just so I could go. But I couldn't work it out scheduling wise and just getting the rest of it together. If it happened 2 or 3 months from now, I could totally have made it work. But anyway, but what I found interesting about it is that it is a new convention about writing, and it's big. It's a big ass convention about writing.
First one that happened. It already
first one.
Do you know how many people?
It was a few thousand. I don't know exactly how many. But a new convention about writing isn't exactly like on top of the list of new conventions that I would expect in today's day and age, especially by somebody who's been like such an internet entrepreneurship pioneer as Hank Green has been. Like the publishing industry is in a little bit of a decline, and people, especially young consumers, are like more likely to be obsessed with the latest online video platform than books. But if you look at the guest list of speakers who went and attended and spoke at this convention, they're some of the biggest authors out there. Like I know more than half of them by name, and reports are saying that the convention sold out completely. Whatever the seat count was, several thousand or whatever, it sold out. And like, I don't want to badmouth any locations in the United States particularly, but like that's in Minneapolis. Like, it's
not winter though.
Yeah, that's
a big difference.
That would make a big difference. But like if there's a YouTube convention in Los Angeles and there's 20,000 seats, I'm like, well, of course it's going to sell out. It's Los Angeles. You'll probably find 20,000 people in the city who want to go to that. And this was in Minneapolis.
Have you seen the Mall of America? Have you ever been to the Mall of America in Minneapolis?
No, I have not.
It is huge.
Uh-huh.
Just empty that place out. It could fill a stadium.
Okay. But it's probably empty
huge.
like most of the time, right? Because no, I got to stop bashing Minneapolis because I want to visit it next year, and I don't want to be ganked as I get off.
It's a cool town. It's one of the
I know. I tried really hard to go there.
Don't go during winter. It's just not worth it. Not unless you can buy yourself a bubble that you can live inside of a bubble as you go. Because you step outside in the wintertime in Minneapolis for 2 seconds, your earlobes freeze off and just fall off your head. It is too cold.
But the fact that the convention was so successful, I think, speaks to like a broader point about the arts that we make on this show occasionally, but it can't be reiterated enough. A lot of people are concerned about the fall of traditional television structure. We are very happy about it, but certain people, especially certain industry people, are like, well, it's all bad and the thing and the bad. And, other people are worried about the future of the film industry when it seems harder and harder to have a new breakout hit that, becomes an international blockbuster or whatever. But the thing is that bottom line, at least in observable memory, once something becomes as ingrained in our culture as our artistic industries have become, they just don't go away. The only thing that changes is the delivery format and the style of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can't think of a single art form that has vanished entirely. When you go from we invented painting 20,000 years ago or whatever the first paintings that we discovered are. Guess what we're still doing? We're still doing painting, whether we're doing actual paint or we're doing, online graphics and in Photoshop and InDesign and all the rest of it. You can tell I'm a graphic designer.
There are art forms that I wish would vanish, like country western. I would love it if that just vanished.
But see, that's music. And the music industry went through this huge, tumultuous upheaval, and everybody was like, you're never going to be able to make a living as a musician again, blah, blah, blah. And look at fucking Taylor Swift, who literally was probably not speaking when the music industry went through its massive fucking upheaval, well, part of it's huge upheaval because of course she was
that young.
Well, she was speaking by the time that the iPhone and iTunes came out and everything like that. But
how old is Taylor Swift?
She's like 20
okay,
or
so
22.
She was like 7 in 2000.
But
a lot of it happened.
Yeah, where that happened. But she was quite young when CDs happened. And I remember when CDs came out, everybody was like, the kids are gonna copy our music to the Napsters. And everybody thought that everybody was gonna die. And it didn't happen. So yeah, the delivery format changes, the industry changes, and of course the style changes. You look at filmmaking today versus 100 years ago, and
YA books are huge. I mean, they're huge now. You know what I mean? These YA books are really big.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter
even that the really, really bad ones.
Yeah, but just like with all other industries, a bestseller isn't what a bestseller was. You get what I mean?
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
really?
Very much so. Yeah. I know by hitting the top 20, a few weeks ago, I hit the top 20 books in America with Nightblade. Okay. And I'm not retiring to the Caymans. You get what I mean? Once upon a time, if you were the top 20 books in America, there were so few books and people were so desperate for things to read that if you were one of the top 20 books, well, you were set. You retired. That was
you were one of the top 20 books across all genres?
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Congratulations.
It was pretty awesome.
How long did that last?
A day. I hit number 18. I went to bed furiously refreshing my phone and then eventually passed out from exhaustion.
Was there coverage?
There was a huge promotion thing. I talk about it on my YouTube channel. If people want to
Can you give me just a quick little a little synopsis just so I can know?
Facebook advertising, and then I got an advertisement on BookBub, which is the best book promotion service in the world. And they don't always get you into the top 20, but they always give you a pretty big boost. But Nightblade,
so it was just an ad. That's what did it.
Yeah, well, it was the way that their algorithm works is like if you have a spike, right? A spike will get you so far. But if you have a spike built on a slowly increasing bedrock, like if your sales levels are right here and you spike, that has a certain level of effectiveness. But if your sales are like this, even at if you're at the same level when the spike happens, the algorithm goes, oh, it's been going up, and now the spike, it boosts you way more. So it was sort of like
a lot of dough, or was it a...
Definitely not as much as I made.
Now, why have you not just continued to do it?
BookBub is like unbelievably exclusive, and so everything was
invited or something to do it. Or
you submit your book, and the ad costs like hundreds of dollars, but they tell you whether they accept you or not. So it's like
they'll only promote you for like a day or something.
They send one email with your book.
Oh, yeah. I see. Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats. Cool.
But they're pretty fantastic.
That's great.
But the point is like that's the sort of thing that I know because I'm active in studying my industry and all that sort of thing. And like anybody, like I run into people all the time who are like, well, but filmmaking like is kind of like on the way out, and writing books is on the way out. And I'm just like, you are so fucking clueless. Like you have no idea. It's like, well, I can't remember the last time I really wanted to go see a film in the movie theaters. It's like, oh, so the fact that you can't remember that is the indicator that the film industry is in a decline. Fantastic.
That is an interesting point. It's because we've nichified so much.
Yeah.
We're only really exposed to those niches that we're exposed to. Yeah. And there's entire swaths of the universe that we're no longer, seeing. I could not name for you off the top of my head 5 shows that have been on network in the past 10 years, episodics. I cannot, like, I could try.
Yeah.
I could try and I would probably be wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Just because people have worked on them or something. You know what I mean? That's it. That's my only connection. I have not watched, until I watched that one episode of Blind Spot the other day, I have not watched an episodic on network TV in a long, long, long time. Which, by the way, I did not enjoy it at all. Because it got like a pretty decent rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So I was like, me and Kendall were there. We're like, it's on Hulu. Let's check it out. And it was just so bad. It was so like just melodrama. It's so bad.
Maybe I'm getting into the weeds with this, and maybe I'm going to make tremendous enemies of a whole shit ton of people. But that's how I feel about The Blacklist. Everybody's like, dude, you got to watch The Blacklist. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fucking A, let's check it out. I watched the first episode. I fucking hated it. I hated it so much. I was just like, wow. And that wasn't that NBC or whatever?
I don't know. I can't watch. I mean, but even cable stuff too. Like I'm not into a lot of it. Like I know you're a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. I couldn't. I didn't
watch the last season.
No.
Yeah,
the whole last season.
The whole last season didn't.
Damn.
See it. Yeah, I know what happened at the end.
Oh,
because the second to last season, I ended every episode just like, well, I guess I'm gonna cut the wrists now because there's no point in any life ever. Like it was so. It lost all of the, like what I originally liked about it was like the morality, despite the vast, like institutionalized criminality and like everything was like, there was always this moral center and always this line that just kept getting pushed and pushed, but there was always that resistance. And I was like, yeah. And then second to last season was just like, everybody who is good is dead. We killed them all. One of them, we bashed his brains out with a lead pipe. Enjoy. Everybody's fucked now, and Jax is going on a ramp. It's just like, Jesus. I wasn't ready.
No.
And now Kurt Sutter's got this new Game of Thrones lookalike, and apparently it's worse than the last season of Sons, right off the bat, like right away. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't think he's that good of a writer. When I first watched it, people were telling me, "Oh, it's as good as Breaking Bad. It's as good as Breaking Bad." And I was like, "No, it's not."
Definitely not as good as
And
Breaking
so-
Bad. I don't think I ever would have said that. I think that it was I quite enjoyed what was it back in the day? Not The Wire, but his first big one.
Who's he? Sutter?
Kurt Sutter, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't do The Wire.
No, it's not, but it's another The Shield. The Shield.
Oh,
He did The Shield.
okay.
And it was there's a lot of a lot of similarities, but like I thought it was quite good. It was like a really, really enjoyable show. And for me, the first 5 seasons of Sons, but I was just like, oh man, this is good. Man, this is good. And then like halfway through season 6, I was sort of like,
But the very first episode, they're in like a shootout in a convenience store, and then it's gone, and then nobody talks about it. It's like it never fucking happened.
yeah, no, totally. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I know it's not the best writing in the world. I know it's definitely not Breaking Bad or anything like that, but it's like, I don't know. There's something enjoyable about it. Anyway, we're way off topic. But the point is, I can't see any future where, even in the age of ebooks, where we still don't buy and read books. And I don't foresee any future in which people won't sit down and watch a 90-minute to 2-hour film. So whatever your industry, if you're an artist, you're going to be fine. Just pay attention to what's actually happening and make sure that you're adjusting to the world that we actually live in.
Word.
Thank you. We will move towards the end of the show with community news. As always, please rate the show, whether you listen to us on the audio feed or watch us live on YouTube. A rating on iTunes helps grow the audience, helps other people find us, and just helps everything get that much more awesome. And we would greatly appreciate it. This Wednesday at We Make Movies is the Showcase event, and I have no fucking clue what that is. Chad,
This is our second. Yeah, it's our second ever showcase. So it's something we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've been doing it a little bit. I can't remember exactly how many actors. I think it's 20 of our actors do 10 scenes, 2 people in each scene. They're like 2 minutes each. It's a really quick thing. But I think you're in and out in an hour. There's going to be like wine and snacks, and there's industry. There's going to be some industry there. So if you want to come and you want to meet some industry, come on down, and also just be a good audience for our people. But it's free, like most of our other workshops, all of our other workshops. But some of our screenings and stuff are paid. But this is free. So come check it out. And then and actually, let me also discuss the Apple Challenge screening, which is happening the following Sunday, which is a week from tonight, because this upcoming Saturday, we're going to be shooting. There's going to be 4 teams of 4 people are going to be down there shooting with a bunch of stuff like the new. We're going to have a couple of these things called diographers, which are these things that you can put an iPhone. That we're going to have the new iPhone 6s. In a couple of them, we may not be able to get 4 of them. So we're going to be shooting on those things, shooting, editing, all in a day, and then screening it the very next day on Sunday. So that's a week from tonight at 3 clubs, 7 p.m. I believe. We're also going to be mixing these crazy one-day films in with some old classic We Make Movies films. So come check that out for sure.
Huzzah. And finally, We Make Movies is the only filmmaking community in the world, so far as we know, that is supported by its community, and that happens on patreon.com. Patreon.com is a crowdfunding website, kind of like your Kickstarter, your Indiegogo, except instead of a one-time fundraising push, it is a continuous voluntary subscription to support the art of artists who you enjoy and who create stuff for free. All of our events, from our writer workshop Wednesdays to, our actor improv nights and showcase and what's next, all of those events are free, and the only way that we're able to keep them free is because of the support of our patrons. And if you want to be one of those awesome people, support the arts, support indie filmmakers in Los Angeles, go to patreon.com/WeMakeMovies and check us out. You get to see all the perks and benefits you get by becoming a member or a regular, and support levels above that. We end, as always, with things to know. Chad? I didn't put this in order, but you're actually first.
Yeah, Shakespeare in the Sphere. I think I was speaking about it before. I'm directing a scene from Othello, kind of a really difficult scene, the most difficult scene in the whole play, to be completely honest with you. But we're shooting it in virtual reality. We raised some money on Kickstarter, raised over $8,000, so we're going to be shooting that in about 5 weeks. I can't remember exactly. It's in November. So keep your eye out for that. As soon as we have something for you to watch, I will let you know, but put that in your pipe and smoke it in the meantime. Don't forget also Aram. It's opening Friday at the Americana. If you can't be there on the 20th, October 20th, which is when we're going to be doing that, We Make Movies is going to be sponsoring that Q&A, and definitely go see it at some point at the Americana. It's probably only going to be there guaranteed for a week, so you don't have a ton of time. If you anyway, so check it out. If you live in Glendale, it's right there. Go, it's cool. Support We Make Movies. And then finally, Galactic Galaxy, both Aram and Galactic Galaxy. We started off talking about this. Check out Galactic Galaxy. I think it's galacticgalaxymovie.com and help them out. We're getting really close to hitting the target. But we obviously need maybe not that close, but we need some help. We've made a hell of progress. I say we like I'm part of it, but I feel like I'm maybe Galactic Galaxy Movie is not it, but it's Galactic Galaxy. I'm putting Galactic just to test it really quick. But check it out. Throw it some love. And thanks very much.
Awesome. I have some friends. If you are a screenwriter, I suppose this would be the most applicable for you. Or if you happen to write books or want to write books or want to be a screenwriter, in 8 days, next Monday, not tomorrow, but next Monday, my friends Johnny B. Truant and Sean Platt from the Self-Publishing Podcast are launching a Kickstarter for their app called Story Shop. And it is a web app program that they're developing, which is basically supposed to be the best story outlining program ever. And we have, I have contributed somewhat to it, and I am currently actually uploading the Kickstarter video for the Kickstarter in preparation for the launch. If you are a fan of the outlining techniques of Save the Cat or the hero's journey, or any of the other major, story outlining structures, you're going to love it. It's fantastic. It's got basically the functionality to create your world, your scenes, your characters with everything interlinked with each other so that you can cross-reference any of which characters are in which scenes contain which characters, and all of it, what happens with your actual story outline. It's pretty freaking phenomenal. So it's going to be next week, Kickstarter, and it's called the Story Shop app. So check it out. How much are you guys
looking to raise for that? And how soon do you think you'd actually be able to hit the market?
It is, I think, a 4-month development time is what they're planning on, and they're looking for $80,000. So they've got a team of 5 people who are going to work on it for that 4-month period, cool. As well as the guys themselves who are going to be basically helming the idea while their development manager.
That's an interesting. I think I'd be interested in having that little piece of software myself.
Yeah, and I'm totally not doing it justice. They did I've been behind the scenes for a long time, but they did a talk about it on their channel, their YouTube channel, Sterling and Stone, recently, and they had like some screenshots up and everything like that. You, Chad, should watch it. Anyone else who's a writer, you'll probably geek out about it a little bit. It's all very like rough mock-up stuff, but boy, it's pretty.
Very cool. By the way, it's watchgalacticgalaxy.com.
There we go.
Galacticgalaxy.com. Thank you.
Fantastic. And with that, we will end this week's episode of the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. As always, I've been Garret Robinson. You can find me at GarrettBRobinson.com. Chad can be found online at SuperFreako. And our absentee host, Michelle, we miss you. She can be found on Twitter at mlukadu. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye. That traditional Civil War drummer.